Malagar, the Undying. Orphaned by disease at a young age, Malagar was taken in by the monastery of the Second Sun, where he learned to harness his substantial magical potential. Despite being left partially disfigured and crippled by his childhood bout with disease, Malagar's magical abilities were substantial, and it wasn't long before he had risen to a prominent position within the monastery. Some years later, when Malagar was preparing for his first journey as a missionary, the disease that had killed his family and crippled him as a child resurfaced, and Malagar, who was already immune to the disease, was chosen to be sent. The sickness spread like wildfire, decimating the nation inside of a year, and although Malagar was immune to the disease, he was helpless to stop it. He watched as the world died around him, and only after there was no one left to try to help, dejected and beaten, Malagar returned to the last safe place he knew, his home at the monastery of the Second Sun. His brothers rejoiced at his safe return, but were troubled by the news that no remedy had yet been found for the terrible plague. And worse still, his brothers at the monastery began to get sick, for Malagar had unknowingly brought the plague with him. Working like a man possessed, he forsook sleep and spent every waking moment fervently brewing potions and developing new magic, searching even the most obscure tomes for an answer. But to no avail. And as the last of his brothers at the monastery died, choking to death on their own blood, Malagar fell into madness. The last survivor in a dead land, a king amongst corpses. In his grief, Malagar found an ancient book in the headmaster's room he had never seen before, filled with the most powerful magic he had ever read about. If only his friends were still alive, there were spells in this book that might have saved them. But all that was left were corpses. Malagar's desire to see his friends once more twisted and consumed him as he pored over the pages of the forgotten tome. He would stop at nothing to see his fellow monks roaming the grounds of the monastery again. And Malagar was a powerful wizard. Within a fortnight, the dead would rise, only to his dismay, their bodies were nothing more than rotten shells, soulless husks that would do his bidding, but nothing more. Malagar felt more hopeless than he ever had, and in a fit of grief plunged his ceremonial knife deep into his broken heart, and fell, landing within the summoning circle he had been working. And as he lay dying, an explosion of twisted magical energy ripped through the monastery, and Malagar was reborn. A lich spawned from his own dark magic, a tortured soul who longed for oblivion, now cursed to eternal life. Resurrected and sustained by the near inexhaustible supply of magic that he unwillingly channeled, the once great wizard set out on a new mission. This world was an abomination, a cruel torment from which all suffered, and Malagar would see an end to this madness.